we wrap every week, courtesy of our friends at the DQs in Palisades, Namao, Newcastle, Westmount, and Baseline Road, with a tradition where basically we pour gas on the fire. That's right. We turn it all the way up. We take a look into our inbox and see what Real Talkers' hottest takes are looking like over the past 7 days or so. These are all real emails. It's the Flamethrower, presented by the DQs of Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. Tracy writes in and says, Jess, well, in answer to your question about how I feel about this cougar hunt, I am very against the cougar hunt, particularly when they're hunting females. And I think that Minister Todd Loewen is the most self-serving SOB who is disregarding the science to help his outfitter friends. That's from Tracy, quick and to the point. What about this one from Jim, who says, Jess, well, very interesting discussion on Real Talk, however brief, around the ideas of wildlife hunting, trophy hunting, culling animals, and the rest. The truth of the matter is indicated by the comments about human meddling with the environment, never getting it right. Isn't that the truth, Jim says, out of Vernon, BC. Says humanity's proven over and over again it cannot manage the environment effectively. Sure, we can extract resources and live comfortably off them for a certain duration, but at what cost to the environment, to the future environment for our children and for their children? When looked at honestly, the wildest and most dangerous animal on the planet is us, we the people, and our overall disregard not only for the environment and the grand interactions occurring within it all, but also our disregard for each other. Human beings, so-called sapiens, are probably the most effective killers on the planet, killers of the environment, of its inhabitants, and by examining our own history, the most effective killers of our own kind. Most of us are insulated by all this by our relatively comfortable lifestyles, our supposed disconnect from the ravages of nature. But regardless, we're still a part of it all, and pretty much the best ravagers on the planet. Nature's a cycle, checks and balances, and humans will eventually find out where and when they check out, as if anyone will be around to care when we become a non-entity in the future of nature. That from Jim in Vernon, BC. I felt like that needs its own segment right there. How about this one from Brent, who says, Jessmo, a note to you with your constant coverage and all the Canadians that are spending so much energy hating on Donald Trump. He and his government do not give two shits what we as Canadians or what our useless federal government says about his actions. He's been America first since he came into politics, and what that means, he looks after the people that elected him first, not people from Canada or the UK or Australia or anywhere else. Brent says, I know this is going to be tough for some of you to hear, but complaining about it will not help. What will we do? Look after ourselves. That's it. Face off against China, Russia, whoever's deciding that Canada's the target. Instead of being lazy and trying to use the USA as our main trading partner, we've got to change our ideas here of resource development, of exports like LNG to Europe and Asia. Seems like a no-brainer, but with the Canadian government, not surprising. Fix this bullshit around interprovincial trade, some provinces denying the flow from one through another. And another thing, says Brent, quit thinking Canada's morally superior to the U.S. ran by that orange man. Our federal government has shown again and again that they hold no higher ground, in fact, constantly holding Canadians hostage for their own political game. Fix these things, get stronger, fix our own house, make it Canada first, and only then will we be able to throw rocks at other houses. My thoughts, not yours. Signs off, Brent. How about this one from Garth? Says Henry Kissinger once said America has no friends, only interests. Well, Canada has certainly learned that the hard way. And we've learned something else. Canada has no friends either. When we needed support, not a single country stood up for us, not even one Democrat. But as old Jamaican parents would say, who can't hear will feel. This is a golden opportunity for Canada's next mandated Prime Minister to finally chart a course toward true sovereignty. It's time to put on our big boy pants and stand on our own 2 feet. Fast-track energy projects, implement a framework to accelerate pipelines and oil and gas development, establish clear, strict project criteria that, if met, guarantees approval, and declare these projects matters of national security. For 9 years, we've been led by a soft man-child, says Garth. For the last 2, the Liberal establishment working overtime to paint Poilievre as mean while pushing the idea that we need somebody soft like Trudeau. Look where that's gotten us. Trump has us bent over a barrel. That from Garth. And this one from Ronnie, who says, Jespo, the next time you speak to the Premier, ask her point blank, do you even want to be part of Canada? And don't let her slither out of it with political speak where she gives a non-answer. Hold her feet to the fire. I have a feeling she only has this rhetoric to stick it to Ottawa and appease her base because it's red meat. But 9 out of 10 Canadian premiers have expressed unity in countering the U.S. This is an existential threat to our sovereignty, and our national identity needs to be taken seriously, and premiers approaching this through policy of appeasement. Even the federal Liberal minister in charge of the issues at the border's not taking it seriously. For most of Canadian history, says Ronnie, we've been allies with some minor disputes here and there, but nothing that rose to the level of where it's at now. And maybe I'm being an alarmist, but I can't help but feel there's problematic overtures in a lot of Trump's speech on this issue. The Americans can't be trusted anymore, says Ronnie. They've forever altered the dynamic of a long-standing relationship that we have taken for granted. That from Ronnie, who writes into talk@ryanjesperson.com. The Flamethrower is proudly presented by the DQs in Northwest Edmonton and Sherwood Park. When you swing on by to pick up a flamethrower, you make sure you let them know that Real Talk sent you. We're taking a few days off. We're back live on the 3rd of March. You won't want to miss that episode. In the meantime, catch up on highlights you may have missed on our YouTube channel. And of course, you can watch us on Spotify. Thanks, Real Talkers. We'll catch you again soon.